Hello everyone, Shane's Games here. So I'm going to be doing another powerlifting review here. This is first place in the 84 kg category of the 2019 Women's IPF. So yeah, let's look at the lifts and let's see what we can learn. Let's see what we can analyze. Let's go. She's already rank 1. She's predicted to be rank 1 before she's even lifted anything. So I mean, that kind of says it really, doesn't it?
I'm sure I've seen
but there's a huge personal best for open amputees.
250 on the squat if you didn't see, which is crazy. This is equipped, by the way, because it's open.
Oh, that looks comfortable.
I've seen this happen quite a bit, where powerlifters, they'll go down, stop, and then go down further. It's almost like a depth check. Whenever they do that, they seem to near enough always get 3 whites. I'll show it again. I'll show it in slower speed here. You can see it in probably normal speed. If you see here, look, she pauses and then she goes back down further, and now she comes back up.
Looks comfortable.
You see? I've seen a lot of people do it and they seem to get white lights. I think it's a lot of pressure to stop there, because it means you have a lot less momentum coming out of the hole, which is the bottom of the squat in my opinion, because you want all that downward force to almost spring shot you back up, have a lot of upwards force, and then break past the sticking point, which for most people is, I would say, either just out the hole or about midway, where your legs are at, let's say, like 120 degrees is normally a big sticking point for a lot of powerlifters. But yeah, this seems to work for her. That's 3 whites. No doubt about that, unless you missed the command. Yeah, there you go. 257.5, I think that is.
257.5.
Yeah. Powerlifters, or a lot of powerlifters, also get really close up into that bar. So I don't know how to say it. A lot of people, it's just a mental thing. For other people, it's so that they can get the exact right positioning. For other people, it's so that they can make sure the bar's as stable as possible. For other people, they just really like to drive that bar into their back, because it means it can be in a more particular position which they're more comfortable with. It could be loads of things, really. As I always say, powerlifting is very much mental. If you have a routine and you stick to that routine, like a pre-lift routine, it will mean that your body is more awake, more receptive to lifting these heavy weights, because it's used to it. It's like waking up your body. It's like, okay, it's time to lift heavy, you know.
I think she hit this weight last year. She did 257 last year at the World Championships in Harmstead.
That looks good.
And she hit it very, very easily here.
I think that's 3 whites as well. She also does a low bar squat, puts the bar lower down, almost on the traps here as well. That also means that there's less ROM necessarily. Also going with a slightly wider stance than probably average width stance, but wider than the average gym goer, about average for a powerlifter stance. Hands are a bit closer together. Some people have them further apart, some people have them closer together. The closer you can get them, the more tight you feel, but some people have them wider out because it helps with their wrist. That's how I feel. I think she went with a hook grip on the bar. I'm not too sure. Hard to tell. Yeah, hard to tell. Is this on the... I think this is on the max here. Yeah, it's hard to tell whether she went with a hook grip or not. But I personally like to go with a hook grip. I feel hook grip helps your hands quite a bit. A hook grip is, if you don't know, is where your thumb is on the same side as the bar as your other fingers. Instead of being on the underside of the bar, it's on the overside. It allows the whole of your hand to allow downward force onto your back, which helps a lot in low bar, not allowing the bar to move up or down your back.
Very, very easily here.
That's 3 whites, so 2 whites and a red. Oh, that's unlucky. I've seen powerlifters belt, how tight they have their belts varies so much, dude. Like, this person has a looser belt. I know some people who will go like to extreme lengths with their belt. They'll like suck in all the air that they can to make sure that their stomach is as small as possible, and then the belt almost acts as a girdle to an extent, which I don't like personally because I feel like I'm going to throw up or pass out if I do that. But for some people, one of the main reasons why they wear for everybody, this is the main reason why they wear the belt, is for the intra-abdominal pressure. The more intra-abdominal pressure you get, technically, it should be the more weight you can move, let's say. However, the more pressure which you have, how can I say, it's more queasy you're going to feel effectively after you lift the weight, because all that pressure is going to be rushing to your head. That's why you see a lot of lifters with extremely tight belts, with extremely red faces, extremely what do you call it, thick veins, I guess you'd say, extremely vascular, especially in their neck. You can see it sort of here. So yeah, I would say to have it a bit looser than extremely tight, but as long as you're getting that intra-abdominal pressure, it doesn't really matter.
Dips in.
Driving
She has
that.
She's got that. So another thing is the breathing in also helps with the intra-abdominal pressure, which she's done there. She lifts up her shoulders a bit, breathes in, gets all the breath, and then she almost like re-racks the weights to an extent back on her traps and on her lower shoulders or mid shoulders, I guess you could say. And then she just lifts it, right? And she also has on lifting shoes, which is just a staple. I think she has on lifting shoes. It's hard to say, but it would be weird for an equipped lifter to not have on lifting shoes. These lifting shoes have an increased heel, which pretty much means that the amount of, I think it's plantar flexion, I'm pretty sure, the amount which your knee has to move past your toe, which is extremely important in powerlifting, is decreased. The more that's decreased, the more effectively you're able to lift, because you're able to reach depth easier, right? But this person doesn't seem to have too much of a heel, so I don't know.
the strength. Did she get the depth on that one? It looked good from this angle.
That's depth.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Give 210 this year.
205, equipped or not, for an 87 kg lift is insane. I've said this many times before, but I'll say it again. With equipped, they have effectively on the slingshot on their chest, which means when the weight comes down, the band across their chest is now kept taut and has a lot of elastic potential, I guess you could say, which allows them to move it up faster, more efficiently, with less effort, effectively. There's nothing too much else she has on the lifting suit, which other than the slingshot, which will just aid what the slingshot does. And yeah, we'll get into the setup here. Look at the arc and stuff like that.
Commonwealth Championships. She hit a 191 at World Bench Championships this year.
All the guys out there that goes to the gym, just pick a 205 kilo.
Absolutely monstrous. And it's just an opener.
The arc, the way she got into the arc was pretty standard, putting your feet up on the bench, making it sure that your feet are as close to your upper back as possible, then putting your feet on the floor. A relatively wide stance, sumo sort of stance on bench, also pretty common. Not crazy sumo like somebody who we saw a couple of videos back, but yeah, everything here is pretty standard. Relatively wide grip on the bench, slow descent, minor touch.
And I think she's got it
Relatively easy lift, but scary for an opener in my opinion. For an opener, it should be a bit easier for you to lift that. That seems like a second, third attempt, if I'm going to be completely honest. Probably close to a second.
Work a little bit
Looks
for
good
it.
from here. It
Got
is.
one.
One red could have been for multiple things. Maybe one of her lats came off the lats, upper back, came off the bench slightly. Maybe one of her feet came off the floor slightly. Maybe her butt came off the bench slightly. It could be multiple things. Same thing as last time. Very slow descent. Extremely slow descent. Slower than normal, I'd say.
Current world record.
Oh yes.
She handled that
I
very,
can't
very
see any
well.
problem with this one.
Let's wait and see
Yeah,
this time.
three white lights. The bench.
Yeah, that was pretty clean. Oh, she got... Oh, that's unfortunate. She got 2 reds on that one at least. I thought they said she only got 1 red, but they must have said that she only got 1 white. That's my bad. Yeah, that descent's extremely slow. To have that much pressure on you for a prolonged period of time is extremely hard to deal with generally. In the gym, she could probably lift 205 without a lifting suit, I would assume. Allowing for non-paused reps, slight bounce. She could probably, although you can't really bounce because well, you can bounce a bit, but with 205, bouncing's a bit scary, and unless you have quite a bit of fat over your sternum, which is normally where you want to bounce it, or over your stomach if you bounce lower, depending on your arm length and so on. But yeah, she could probably lift 205 in the gym with a non-paused rep.
205
in my opinion.
The first attempt, that was turned over by the ref, jury.
Came out in the second and said, you're not taking this one away.
Lloyd's away. Now she got another, what?
7.5
7.5 kilos.
This is an extremely heavy lift for anyone. Wow, that's a slow descent, man.
It's working it.
I think she's got it.
Is it locked?
I don't know if it was locked on the right side.
Put 215 on there and she'd get it.
Oh, it was okay. Fair enough, fair enough.
Opener.
Bro, I find this so funny. People think that deadlift is always the heaviest lift. Sometimes, I often say that squat's the heaviest, but sometimes deadlift is just a wild card. Deadlift can just be anywhere. Squat's near enough always the heaviest for #1 world champions, right? And then deadlifts just deadlift and bench are just somewhere mixed around in there, right? Right now she's deadlifting less than she benched on her first attempt, which is crazy. She'll probably get it easier than her first attempt on bench, so she's a bench world record holder. That's why.
What I need to pull.
Yeah. I mean, and you said it. This
is gonna be easy.
Oh.
Oh,
You gotta trust your coach.
there you go. Nothing much to say about that.
Looking at board and looking at figures. You want to sit in the
trust
corner,
them
so if you get it.
I think this is
And we have
enough
a
for a first place total.
Total
Yeah, I
record.
thought so.
This will give her 677.5.
677.5. Crazy, dude.
And that looks comfortable.
And that's that.
It did, didn't
That's
it?
the world
You look at
record.
your world champion, you look at your world champion, right? She can
By the way, just a small thing. This isn't really relevant to her because she's not using up all of her time. You have 1 minute to prepare. Unfortunately, here's the bad thing about the 1 minute. So in the 1 minute, if you have a complication with your uniform, let's say your socks are over your knees or your socks are too short or whatever it may be, if your socks are too short, that may be a different issue because you can't pull it up. The ref may tell you to change your socks in whatever way it may be, or if there's another outfit problem, and that cuts into your time. So it could be the case that you lock it out after the I think the time I think the time starts when you begin to lift the weight. Sorry, I think the time stops when you begin to lift the weight. So if you begin to lift the weight after that 1 minute, it doesn't count, unfortunately.
do what she can do. She break a world record, set the toggle, sit back, say,
Which I think is just practicality more than anything else. We can't be there for however long. And then people have like 5-minute rituals before they like do deadlifts. They're like over there having to sniff their ammonia, having to get their back slapped, having to do all sorts of stuff. Having to headbutt, whatever it may be.
All she can do now is she set the benchmark.
go in.
Yeah, she got that.
And I think she's got it
It's
there.
gone. Should be.
Nice. Nice, yeah. Okay, yeah, that was pretty impressive. That's extremely impressive. World #1 powerlifter right there. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. It's a bit longer than normal. I went more in depth than I normally do, but yeah. So I'll see you lot in the next one. Have a good one.